All right, so it's March Madness time. And so, what better time to talk about buckets? No, not those kind of buckets, but but NFL draft buckets. All right, New York Jets fans, it's time to take a look at some of these wide receivers and what kind of buckets we would put them in. What are we talking about buckets, Frankie? Well, one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make, including the fans, is they think about just one player or two players and they say, I want that guy onto the Jets. And the problem there is you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to create these buckets where you are okay with anyone in the bucket. And if all your players in the bucket are gone, then you move on to a different position group. But that's really the way to do it. Now, I'm going to give you an example here so you can see what I'm talking about with regard to the wide receivers, but this can be used with any position group or across position groups as well. So let's get to that right after this. Are you looking for a a new blog to read about jet stuff? Well, you might like chemtrails. The Frankie from Flatbush blog on Substack, where I write about the Jets. Here's an article about Cam Jordan. Here's an article about Pascal Ikeji. Here's an article about Bad Bunny. Here's an article about Woody Johnson. So as you can see, stuff to read. Only going to get more and more as time goes on. So think about subscribing to Chemtrails, the Frankie from Flatbush blog. FrankieFromFlatbush.substack.com. FrankieFromFlatbush.substack.com. All right, back to the show. Now, you may be wondering, what the hell is this? Well, we got some wide receivers, and you would want to create buckets for them, as I discussed earlier. Now, this work here is based on the model created by Ray GQ, as you see right here. Go follow him on Twitter, Ray GQ. He also has a Patreon that if you want to give him some money. Now, as you know, I vet these people before I go and promote their work. I vet them very carefully. This guy's the real deal, Ray GQ. So whether you like this or not, he is a very knowledgeable man, talking about the draft, talking about this and that. And I have vetted this system for the last 4 or 5 years. He posts his results, what happened, and it's an accurate system. Now, he has what's called the Trinity score. Now, it's a proprietary score based on different things. He's not going to tell you exactly what, but part of it is yards per route run and so forth and so on. And this year, Makai Lemon is coming in at number uno. Now, as you can see right here. So the first bucket, as you see on the left, we have to come away with one of these players, particularly probably at pick 16. We got to get them. Why? Because I did a cutoff right here of the green scores. These green scores mean the greener the better. So we would really want one of these top 4. And the one we really want is Makai Lemon, if you want to stick with a one-person bucket, right? But the reason you want these guys is because these scores have become very predictive about how they're going to hit their marks over here. As you can see, for year 1 means they're going to get over 525 yards. Year 3, they're going to go over 1,000 yards and also be 15 points, fantasy points per game as a receiver. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty close to where if they're a great bet like Makai Lemon to hit these numbers, they usually do. And these are good bets here. So really you want one of these 4. I would say Jordan Tyson's out for us, though, because of his injury history. This little icon means injury, problem, or concern. Now, Jordan Tyson, his injury problems, they're more than just the hamstring from this year. and maybe he's good for someone else, but you got to remember we play on frozen concrete, and so a guy who continually has broken bones and has soft tissue and this and that, we can't. I'm sorry, Jordan, we just can't. And he may be great for somebody else, but we play on frozen concrete, so sorry. But at the very least, and I took Zachariah Branch out and put him into the second bucket because he's just small and gadgety. So for us, I would say Lemon, Concepcion, Tate, Boston, Cooper. We got to get one of them. We got to exit the first round with one of them, in my opinion, based on this model. Now, on day 2, it'd be nice if we could get one of these. Brazel, Branch, Surratt. Now, Bell has a ACL, so he wouldn't be, you have to wait for him, but that's not as concerning. It's just one injury, whereas with Tyson, he's just always injured. But then Lane, Antonio Williams, Skylar Bell. If we could get basically one from here and one from here, that's what you want in this draft at some point. We got to come away with that. And that would be a great, great result. And you can see some of these guys here. Lemon, Concepcion, and so forth and so on. You may like some of these other people. Jeremy Bernard, Kevin Coleman, Malachi Fields, Ted Hurst, Dion Burks. Now, some of these guys down here, sometimes in the model, there are guys who outperform as a pro what they did in college. But it's rare. So you really don't, if you're going to take one of these guys, you want to take them later. You want to take them in the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, so that if they don't pan out, no problem. You were taking a flyer anyway. But you really don't want to spend premium capital on guys who just haven't scored well in this model, in this index. Now, that being the case, what could actually happen in the draft? What if this was our draft? I mean, and now I'm using the source for this being the consensus big board. You see the link here. So it's not really that far-fetched. Reese, Lemon, Halsey, Brazel. That one's might be a reach, but because I think teams are going to be higher than consensus. But then Corleone, Payton, Coogan, Stevens, Bredesen. If we come away with this haul, whoo, baby. Because basically you're getting Cole Payton, who's developmental. He's a project. He could be really good, but he's not going to be good this year. So you stash him and you see what you got, and you're taking him in the 4th round. So you're not costing yourself something else. Pat Coogan, we get our backup center, somebody who could challenge Myers for the job, but if not, all right, becomes a backup, no problem. We get our kicker for the future, Drew Stevens. He's generally regarded as the best kicker in the draft, and kicked for Iowa in the outdoors and in the weather, so there's that. And then Bredesen is not a great player, but he does block his butt off. So we get our blocking tight end. And so we're using the later rounds as a way to get jobs done on the roster. Instead of banking on some guy with a high RAS score or something, let's get people who have a purpose here. A blocking tight end, a kicker, a backup offensive lineman, a developmental quarterback. Don Corleone, I think, in New Jersey. Don Corleone, I think it makes a lot of sense. We still need another interior defensive lineman, but still we need at least one in this draft. And the thing is that the draft position ranks here are all in line with where they are in consensus, so I'm not reaching for anyone. And so I think this could be something like it ends up as and to me, this would be a fantastic draft. So there you go, buckets. You got to think about buckets of players, not just individual players, the buckets. All right, let me know what you think about buckets. Down below, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Totally free. Doesn't sign you up for anything. Doesn't request your email. It just helps out old Frankie. Remember, I don't have any producers. I don't have any executive assistants. I don't have any butlers or French maids or anything. It's just old Frankie in this apartment. That's it. So if you'd like to support it, click the subscribe button. That's the best thing you could do. If you want to go a little extra, you could go a little extra. Click the join button. You join the inner circle. You get extra stuff. Tons of it. Emojis, information, you name it, you get it. Yeah, that's the join button down below. And with that being said, I will see you next.